Happy Monday. Welcome to the Sunshine State Racing Recap Show. Robert, you recovered yet?
I'm recovered okay, but I didn't get out of bed till noon yesterday, and I think I went to bed last night at 8:30.
Nice.
What a weekend!
Right? You didn't get a chance to come down on Friday. You missed a whole bunch of fun. We had a blast.
I almost didn't think I was going to make it there on Saturday. I worked like 4:30, got there, qualifying was already started, and but man, just a huge thank you to everybody that tuned in and watched our broadcast. And we got people jumping on tonight's recap show almost as strong as we did on Saturday night at the race. So thank you, everybody, to all our supporters and our marketing partners and everybody that make what we do possible. We love bringing you all this coverage, and it's amazing. And I'm just going to throw out some rounded up numbers because I don't want to get exact because I won't remember them. I don't have them in front of me. But the number of people that watched Saturday was amazing. And I think 83% of those people were from all across the United States. We can break it down even farther and see how many were from Florida. But almost 18% of the people were watching were from Canada. And then there were 2% of the people watching from elsewhere. And I know we have a bunch of fans on our page from New Zealand. But just a huge shout out to everybody that pays attention to us here in Sunshine State Racing in Florida and allows us to bring you your favorite racing coverage all over the world. I mean, think about it. We're worldwide sports coverage.
It's crazy what it's turned into, right? Like, who would have ever expected it to be this big so quickly?
Well, yeah, I was scrolling through the page today, and we're almost to a 15,000 fans, almost to 18,000 followers. And when I was looking through that information, it said this page was started in December of, I think, 2019. And when I started that page, I kept it private for probably 3 weeks, debating whether I even wanted it to go public. And then I did in early January, and then you guys started helping me. And I don't think either one of us or anybody would have dreamed that we would have had 5,000 people following us, more or less what we have now.
Yeah, it's really awesome. And I look forward to our weekends so much because as soon as I pop on the live feed, our fans from all over the place are talking to us, telling us about their weather, wishing they were down here in Florida with us. So it's always a great time. We already have fans jumping on, commenting. Gary McFall says hello. Rick Chapman says, hey guys, great coverage Saturday night. Cold in North Florida tonight. It got cold quick. Thankfully, it came in after the weekend. Michael Fatigue, hello, race fan.
And a night for, he didn't have the night I know he wanted in the car, but what a night for Gary McFall to be back behind the wheel after almost 8 years out from racing. And I know he's got his own car coming soon, but he got the chance to get in Chad and Colin Allman's 67 Sportsman. And it wasn't the result I know he wanted, but I know he's had fun, and that's what matters in our sport. And it was great to see him behind the wheel and his family out on the track again. And I know it's not going to be much longer before he has his own car back out, but always great to see those stories. And then Joe Winchell, finished sixth in a car that's 27 years old. It's had 3 clips. I think it's had more. He says it's only had 3. I remember a night, early 2000s there at, it was Charlotte County Motorsports Park back then. That car went into that wall area, but going into 3, and you would have thought that car was done. And he's brought it back, and him and Justin Carroll, who's like family for him, had fun all weekend. And if things wouldn't have happened in that wreck, he might have had a shot there in the end. But 27-year-old car going out with some of these ones that are brand new and competing is amazing.
Definitely. We have people saying, why aren't you guys at Lucas Oil at Bubba's for a Lucas Oil race? I wish we were.
Well, I'll give you the honest answer to that is our real jobs pay the bills, and unfortunately right now they're calling us, and I'm going to have some time off for the next couple of weeks. I hope to get out and do some coverage around here at Speed Weeks, but we do this as a hobby, and we do this for fun and try to keep everybody as informed as we can. But where our real jobs take us during the week, it makes it hard sometimes, but we still try to give that information we can and share it with everybody. We're going to share you the information all week long from all these tracks around the states, if we're there or not. But we appreciate everybody asking, but to be honest, that's why we're not there.
My mom says she has one eye on us and one on the hockey game, so I have to let her know the hockey game's on behind me here, or in front of me here, behind the camera. David Barnett's tuned in, enjoying the coverage from Lincolnton, North Carolina. Roger Hunt's tuned in from Connecticut. Rick Chapman says, it's time for Speed Weeks. Nick Newton, 17 degrees in Wisconsin. Be down here starting on the 18th. Make sure you come see us, Nick. Dana Barlow's tuned in. Super weekend. Love watching. Thanks so much. Turn 3 wall comes quick, says Stephen Darling. My buddy Tony from Concord, Alabama's on. Rick Chapman commenting his favorites for the Lucas Oil races. So we'll get into... Go ahead.
A huge shout out to Steve Darling, and you see the down on the bottom, SRQ Taxes, Sarasota Taxes, for jumping on board and being a great marketing partner with us. He had his 68 street stock out over the weekend and got into an incident on the back stretch, and yeah, he almost met that turn 3 wall, probably harder than he'd like to, and it came up quick, but luckily didn't have any major damage to the car. And huge thank you to you for supporting the Sunshine State Racing flag on the back bumper, and can't appreciate you for everything you do for us.
Nothing makes us happier than seeing Sunshine State Racing and hearing the drivers thank us for what we do, because we couldn't do it without them. I always say, you guys are the ones putting on the show. We're just the ones trying to video it for everybody.
And
Jake
also,
Wilson said,
just, go ahead. No, just a huge shout out to, somebody mentioned it on here, to Brian Langford. And if you guys saw late last week, I was at their shop down here in Naples, Florida, with the Rubber Duck Swamp Buggy, and they had the Swamp Buggy races yesterday. And that family's been doing it for 30 years. 30 years ago, Donald Hogan and Brian's dad took the Rubber Duck to Victory Lane at the Swamp Buggy Festival here in Naples. They only have 3 of them a year. And Brian's had some wins, but it's been a long drought. And yesterday, Donald Hogan spent the last 5 or 6 weeks in that shop almost every night, helping get that back. And they returned to Victory Lane yesterday with Brian and the Rubber Duck. So congratulations to that whole crew and the Langford Racing. And maybe we're going to get a chance to go in March and hang out with those guys at the Swamp Buggy races. But it's just like circle track racing and a big family event. And those guys are so proud of what they accomplished yesterday.
Super proud of them. They're going to want you to come down every week just to give them that little good luck charm you gave them last week.
Well, how many weeks in a row when we were doing our Saturday show did our guest end up winning that week?
It was pretty awesome. We were on a good 5-week streak there. All right. Do you want to get into what's racing this coming week?
Yeah, a lot of good stuff coming up this week. At 417 Southern Speedway, in the dirt track at 417 Southern Speedway, you have the go-karts and lawnmowers, all kinds of classes for all the go-karts. Arbondale Speedway starts on Saturday, the Legends Winter Nationals, and runs all next week. Citrus County Speedway has Sportsman, Sign Fast Pure Stocks, Crockett's Towing, Ford Outlaw, and the O'Reilly's Auto Parts Mini Stocks and Mod Minis all going on at Citrus. Showtime Speedway has non-wing sprint cars, open wheel modified street stocks, and Ford .6 Crown Vic Oval. New Smyrna Speedway kicks off the World Series of Asphalt. To see what's racing each night there, go to newsmyrnaspeedway.com or check out their Facebook page. It varies every night, so we weren't able to put it on the ticker on the bottom. East Bay Raceway Park has the 410 All-Star Sprints tomorrow night. It was canceled tonight. And then the 3rd through the 6th Top Gun Sprints and Crate Racing USA 604 late models. Hendry County Motorsports Park has the USCS Sprint Cars, Dara, Street Stocks, 4.6 Fords, Gladiators, and V8 Warriors this weekend. Bubba Raceway Park has the Lucas Oil late models tonight and tomorrow night. And then the 4th through the 6th, they have the NOS Energy Drink National Midget Series there. And I believe Chase Elliott's going to be running in that in the Mod Light Star Series as well. North Florida Speedway has the Frostbuster weekend this weekend with Dirts for Racing Street Stocks with Candace Connor-Keeley's last week's guest, the 4th through the 6th, Street Stocks, late models. And that'll get us around the state this weekend.
Awesome.
A lot going on
awesome
all weekend into the weekend.
I want to be everywhere.
There's so much going on. I mean, Ocala's going to be hard this weekend with my work as far as is, but man, Lake City, and if you want to get dirt racing with the street stocks up there at North Florida Speedway, or even to see Chase Elliott in a USAC sprint car at Bubba's, man, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, I want to get out to East Bay this week, but I'm going to wait until it warms up just a little bit, maybe Thursday, Friday.
Well,
I think we're ready.
Top Gun sprint cars run there like 4 nights in a row. It's an amazing show there.
Yeah, it's going to be really good. So I think I'm going to make my way out to East Bay sometime this week and maybe do some asphalt this weekend. We'll see. I think we're ready for our first caution, and we'll come back with our first guest, which is Jason Vail, winner of the $10,000 Frostbite 200. Welcome back. Happy Monday. So we'll recap a little bit of 417. We had an awesome weekend. We had, 34 to 37 cars practicing Friday night. I was able to go live for a little bit of practice throughout the evening Friday. Had a great time there. We all went to Ryan. Well, a bunch of us went to Ryan's after. Ryan's actually had their anniversary party going on. So to say they had a packed house was an understatement. So huge thanks to them for accommodating us, feeding us, and tolerating all of us crazy race car fans. And we had a really good time. Frostbite 200 winner Jason Vail has joined us now. Hi, Jason.
Hi.
I know you wanted to be in the shop tonight, but internet didn't work well with you.
Yeah, we're in the middle of nowhere out there.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about your weekend. First of all, how did you get hooked up with Bubba and allow that whole deal to happen where Bubba drove your second car?
I kind of met him through David Rogers. I used to go over there and help them a lot, and go over there Mondays and Wednesdays, hang out with them. And then when he started driving for David, I went there and helped him still, and that's kind of how I met him.
That was really cool to have him down here for such a big race because, you know, any publicity we can give you guys as racers, and Bubba has a huge following, is always good for our sport down here. So going into 417 this weekend, how was your car? First time out in practice? You haven't really raced there a whole bunch lately, so what did it feel like? Did you have a lot of changes to make?
No, we ran down there. When did they have their finale? They had it December 19th or something like that. And we went down there for that, and we weren't really that good. I think we should have finished third. We slipped up on the last lap and finished fifth. Just didn't really have any speed, but I went back and worked on it. And when we unloaded on Thursday, we went down there Thursday to test, and we hadn't touched it all weekend after that. It unloaded perfect.
Awesome. So I want to clear up some conspiracy rumors because I'm sure you've seen all the madness on Facebook. So if Brandon's ready for us, Brandon's going to pull up the video and you're going to kind of walk us through. Well, first of all, let's talk about driver's meeting because Ricky Brooks is a stickler about restart. We know Ricky doesn't play when it comes to gray areas. Ricky was the tech inspector, kind of race director for the weekend. So he's the one that makes the calls on this weekend, right?
Yep.
Okay. So in driver's meeting, they were told, here's where you start. We're not tolerating, the restart games, whatever the case may be.
So they had
So
done the same restarts on that finale, that 50 lapper. They did the same style restarts just so that we could get kind of familiar with that style.
and from someone not from around here, it is different. It's, if you haven't
Yeah,
raced,
it's like a CRA restart.
yeah. So I think Brandon's got the video. So walk us through this restart that caused all the controversy in the world.
It's different than the other restarts. Before he would nose ahead of me, but here he was lagging back a lot. And yeah, I mean, we weren't even close to the cone. He was already half car ahead of me. I just didn't even go. Once I could see he was lagging back, I knew what he was going to try to get a run on me before we even got to the cone. And I had been kind of lenient. I mean, if I don't know if he has any other clips from previous restarts, but most of the rest of them, he would halfway down the back straightaway be maybe 3-4 feet ahead of me, and I'd have to keep speeding up to keep up with him.
In
And
the
as the
cone,
leader,
go ahead,
and as the
Robert.
leader, you guys were told during that in the meeting and everything, you don't have to start at the first cone. You just have to fire someone between the two cones, right?
They said at the first cone they want you to start gradually speeding up, and then once you get to the restart zone, you can choose between the lines.
Okay.
Okay. So rumor has it you're a track favorite. That's one of the main things I've noticed on these posts. So to clarify, how many times did you race 417 last year?
I went down for that 50 lapper in December, and then I think it'd probably been at least 3 years since we'd been down there.
That was my recollection because we've videoed a lot of racing down there and you have not been down there but the one time that I could remember last year.
The last time I was there was a wheelman race, and I drove JR's car.
Okay, so the other favorite comment that I saw was, has Ricky Brooks made you a favorite?
I think we all
And
know
I'll
that.
just say, from personal experience, I know Ricky has tossed Jason quite a few times when he was at New Smyrna. So I'm pretty
it's 4
sure
times.
I don't think Ricky has a
right.
favorite.
Right? The other one was when you stopped to talk to the officials, did they tell you to make sure to make the Z2 jump the restart?
No, I'd left my headphones unplugged when I got back in, and it didn't even dawn on me until I pulled over. I thought they were like going to pull me over for leaking fuel or something because we've refilled the car. And the guy said, "Plug your headphones in." I was like, "Oh, I didn't even think about it." I usually don't
So that
talk
was
much on the
after.
radio.
Right. So that was after the halfway break. All right.
Yeah.
So we talked to you a little bit during the race. What changes? I mean, your car was really good from start to finish, but what changes, if any, did y'all make during the race to kind of help it out for the second the second 100 of it?
I just made sure the sway bar stuff was tight. I've had problems with the bar backing off in the past, and that's really about it. Check air pressure.
And I was scrolling through Facebook and I got to see, I can hear your little ones in the background. So I got to see the video of your little one cheering for you. Is she that excited every race?
Yeah, she's been going since she was 3 weeks old. Her her first race was the Rattler in Alabama when we won the Super Stock race.
That's awesome. Raising them up right. Robert?
So, what was it like? I mean, I know you were excited to win the $10,000, but what is it like feeling? I know you do a lot of this work in the shop by yourself or with your family. What was it like not only to prepare the car that won the $10,000, but also to have the second place car, which obviously a great driver and Bubba Pollard driving it, but to have the car set in 1 and 2, and then what was it like to have that finish?
There's a lot of work in the shop. The other car, I'd mainly been running it at Pensacola and other places, and had to do a lot of updates to it to make it current with wheelman rules and stuff. And a lot of people were telling me that I was working too much on it, just trying to make sure everything was right. I didn't want to let him down. It's kind of like an honor to prepare a car for him. I was nervous.
I can
And then
imagine
a lot
that's
of people,
that's a lot of pressure.
yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
and then a lot of people, I mean, there's been mixed comments about, I know they told everybody before the race that the top three where they were going to pull engines and check. There's a lot of, some people say that was overkill, and then other people were grateful that they actually did something like that for those motors because it kind of shuts everybody up that says everybody's been cheating with those type motors. What was it like for you guys as a team? Unfortunately, you had to pull two of them, but I meant, is it something you were kind of glad was done and now everybody can know everybody's straight up, or was it more work than it may have been worth?
We were fine with it. I was actually excited when they said they were going to pull the top three motors, and I hope they pulled mine too so I could prove myself to be right.
And it was a very late night for you guys. So did you get to celebrate the $10,000 check at all, or did you just go right to sleep?
We left the racetrack at, I want to say, it's 5:15 in the morning. We went to Waffle House.
Yeah, I left it. I think I gave up at 3 and went to Waffle House because all of the fans on Sunshine State wanted to see what was going on. So we kept going live. And then Joe Gentry started going live. And I'm like, all right, Joe's taking over. I'm going to Waffle House.
Yeah, it was 5:15 or so. We rolled out of there, and that's the third time he ate there this week. But there's
Fun
nowhere else we could
times.
think of that was open at that hour.
Yeah, Punta Gorda needs to work on after hours food for all of us racers. All right, so do you want
Yeah.
to name off the people that helped you this past weekend and helped you prepare the cars? And I know you guys worked a lot at the track. You had a ton of people helping, and do you want to give them a shout out?
Yeah, my mom and dad do a lot for me, helping me out with some of the bills on the cars and stuff. A few people came over to help me. I usually work by myself in the shop. A lot of times I go to the racetrack by myself, but this weekend was completely different. We had tons of people show up. Bubba brought his own crew, and I had Brett and his brother Sean came. Donovan came to help me, and they both actually came to the shop and helped me work on Bubba's car because I was really focused on his car. I might have worked on his car 2 or 3 weeks straight and then worked on mine for maybe 3, 4 days before I loaded it up. And We just had a good time. I mean, it was pretty easy. The car was pretty good out of the box. Bubba's car, I took it out on Thursday. We went down there Thursday just so we could test and I could make sure it was mechanically sound. And I had brake problems, and I had to work on that all day Friday morning, and it went pretty smooth other than that.
Well, from the drop of the green till the checkered, you were definitely one of the cars to beat. You did a great job. I was kind of worried about you guys after the halfway break, wondering what the tires were going to do sitting that long because we had the red flag, then the halfway break. But man, that car never seemed to fall off like some of the others did.
No, it's still, even at the end, coming to the checkered, it had plenty left. It's just incredible. I couldn't believe it. In the beginning, I thought maybe I was going a little too hard, and then around, I think lap 70, I started running a comfortable pace that I felt I could run to the end. And that's when I started catching the lap cars, and he was telling me, yeah, you really don't have to lap them, but I was like, I don't think I should really go any slower.
Right? I think you lapped, what, up to 14th, 15th before the long red flag?
Yeah, a couple of them didn't want to move. I accidentally got into the 29 car. I was glad he didn't spin out.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really good race. We were really shocked to see that many cars go a lap down in the first half of the race because the times in practice and qualifying were so tight. Like we absolutely did not expect someone to come out and be that dominant in the race. So it was a lot of fun to watch. We appreciate you taking the time on your Monday. I know you're probably still recovering from the weekend because we are, and we didn't race 200 laps. So huge thanks to you for coming on and clearing up some rumors, clearing up some conspiracy theories, and congratulations on winning that $10,000 check. Hope to see you back at 417 again soon.
Thanks.
And get ready for the fall brawl, $10,000 more on the line later in the year.
Right? Any race that Ronnie puts on is going to be big money and lots of fun. All right, guys, so we're ready for our second caution of the night, and we will be back with our second guest.
Give me a few seconds to tell you about something extremely important about insurance. Have you ever thought about any of the following? Maybe paying off a mortgage, proper retirement, that is non-taxable. What about final expense questions? Well, the Alliance with Candace Keeley has all the answers for all those mentioned. Call someone you can trust. Retirement-safe investments are extremely important to lock in now, especially with this important election we are facing. There is no better time, as crucial as now, to get the most out of these insurance benefits. The Alliance with Candace Keeley. Call 386-523-6335 for a free review.
With 24 flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, HTO keeps you cool. So, what's your flavor?
And we're back. Just one thing I was sitting here thinking of. First of all, Lightning Game goes on commercial same time we do, which is a total ripoff because I can't even see what the score is. And for two,
Somebody
it's
said
February
goal.
1st. It's February 1st, and Jason Vail starts his season with a $10,000 win. I don't even know what it paid for second, but that's a great way to start 2021.
Yes, it is. And just
We have fans commenting, congratulations on a great run. Thanks again for the great coverage of the race and weekends. We had a great time at 417, and we had a really good race. Unfortunately, we had cars that ended up with damage. Dylan Bigley, that wreck probably scared me worst of all. The sound on the front stretch, it was really loud. really glad to see him get out of the car and was okay after that.
And that was kind of like a fluke accident. When went back and he watched the GoPro and talking to him, he said, coming through the turns, you can hear when Anthony Cataldi earlier in the race, he got into him and it knocked part of the fender loose. And on that restart right there, part of the fender just rolled up and went under the tire and shoved him right up into the wall.
The funny thing was because we were down there playing security, when he got out of his car,
this track being security,
right? When he got out of his car, he was like checking on everyone else and trying to look at everyone else's car to make sure they were good so they can keep racing. So I thought that was pretty cool. Dylan's always a good guy and always helping out others. So that was his first reaction, was let me see if these guys are okay and they can keep running.
Yeah, and trying to help any way they can. That's just who the Big League family is, trying to make sure everybody else gets to keep running in the race. Right.
Well, we have our second guest lined up. Robert, you want to introduce this one?
Second guest is going to be Michael Hinde from he's driving 69 super late model, but Saturday night was in his super mini late model, as they call them over at Showtime Speedway. Got tongue-tied on that one, or known as around the rest of the state as the modified minis. How you doing tonight, Michael?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing good. You've been having a lot of success lately in coming up the ranks. You just started last year in the super late model, but you've had some great finishes at 417 in the Big League Memorial and good practice times and qualifying over at Showtime Speedway, a good finish over at New Smyrna. But you went back to the roots a little bit this Saturday night, back to the super mini late model, and had a great field for the Rick Sirman Memorial race. 75 laps, big money on the line, and a nice ring from Q Auto Injury Attorneys. And you got it done at the end of the day. Competitive race. What was that race like as a driver? That many of those cars at one time?
That's the biggest mod mini race I've ever raced. I think it's great for the class. That class doesn't get enough recognition. I think it's a growing class, and I love racing them. And for me, ever since I started racing, that was the race I wanted to win. It's like the Super Bowl of mod mini racing. That's the biggest one that I've ever heard of. And for me to win it, I just think it was awesome. I've watched several YouTube videos on it from the previous years, just thinking how I could do better in that race. And for my first time doing it, I think it was a great success.
And you didn't have it easy by any means, because Jason Lester does well in his Sportsman in his truck. He went out in Mike Caravan's car and set a new track record in fast time and battled you guys all night long. But at the end of the night, you got to tell us a little bit, because I only got to see pictures of it. How nice was the championship ring that Q Auto had for you guys?
Oh, it is very nice. You can tell they spent a lot of time on it. Well, we showed up Friday night for practice, tried getting everything done. Huge thanks to Bob Coffey for getting that car fast. We got pretty much everything done on Friday, and we're turning some really good times after they turned the transponders off. We went out for one practice on Saturday, and the car felt good. We were real close to the previous track record for a couple laps in a row. And I qualified third. They sent a car out in front of me on my first green flag lap, which kind of messed me up, but it's nobody's fault. It happens. Qualified third, and then we started seventh. I believe it was a 5-row invert. And then the beginning of the race, it was a racing deal. I got sent to the rear, made my way back up to, I believe, fifth place, and got into another racing accident. Got sent to the rear again. With 18 laps to go, I made it back to the front and made the pass on the last lap.
So it wasn't just I'm going out here and I'm dominating. You had to work your butt off and come from the rear twice to win that race.
Yes, ma'am. It was very crazy. So many things. The odds were not in our favor. I was a little more aggressive than I normally like to be. I just really wanted to get that win. I think I wanted to win it more than anybody did. and that's what we did.
That's so awesome. You've been really impressive watching you in the late models because it seems like from your first race out, the couple times we got to watch you when we were at the same track, you've really been impressive watching you learn the late models and improve every race. You've been doing really well. So, what is your goal for your 2021 race season?
Thank you very much. Well, we started off good, and I'm just trying to get as much seat time as I can. We just got Jet Motorsports and Pat Jet. So next Thursday, actually this Thursday, we'll be heading to New Smyrna Speedway to practice for Speed Weeks, and then I'll be racing from Friday night of the 5th all the way to Saturday to the 13th. Pat Jet is letting me drive his very own pro car, and I'll be driving my Super almost every night of Speed Weeks.
That's a great
That's
group
awesome.
to work with. Yeah, that is a really good group to work with and learn from. So, is that not in every driver? I mean, honestly, I'm not a driver, but it's my dream to be at Speed Weeks for all 9 nights. So, is that not a dream come true to be able to race the entire week of Speed Weeks?
I think it's amazing. I believe they're the best in the business for short track racing, and I believe they're going to hook me up with some really good cars, and I'll just try my best to finish up front.
I, I think you got a very good chance of winning that Pro Late Model Championship for all 9 nights with that team. They always come with very competitive cars, and you're a smart driver and know where to put it. So that combination, I think, is going to put together some wins.
Thank you very much. I've actually never even been in a pro car. We're going to try it out Thursday. They really like my driving style, so they said I'd be really good in a pro car. So we're going to try it out. Hopefully I like it.
That's awesome. So we have a fan comment. Livia Hodge says daily, a 4-year-old says, "Oh my gosh, my favorite race car driver is on TV."
That's
We
awesome.
have
That's my
another. We love it. Dennis commented, "This kid impressed me with his first race at New Smyrna, fighting the last couple of laps with Nassie for second. Looked like a veteran out there. What a race! Being sent to the back 2 times on a short track, making it back to the front is outstanding."
So
Thank you guys.
you've raced most of the tracks around the state now. Do you have a favorite track?
Actually, my favorite track is 417. Ever since I went there for my first time, I believe it was my first time, I broke the track record there in the Mod Mini. And after that, it felt great there. I love that track. It just feels so smooth, and I love it.
And I see all the trophies behind you. So we always joke at my family's house that we're always dusting off trophies. So how cool is it to have a different type of trophy in a championship ring that you'll always be able to keep with you?
I think it's amazing. I think the trophy and the ring, you don't see any tracks doing stuff like that anymore. I think it's great, especially that great race, and I couldn't be more thankful.
So I just got a viewer comment here, and just going to ask you to confirm, and it is. This is I'm I don't know, I'm speechless, but it says you had donated the winnings from this year's race towards next year's race.
Yes, I think it's a great cause, and I think it brings all the Mod Mini drivers to a huge race. So I decided I'd donate my winnings to the next year's race to help them kick it off, and maybe it'll be bigger and better.
That's so
that's amazing.
awesome. I love seeing our young drivers who have a heart of gold.
Thank you.
So your plans after Speed Weeks, are you focusing on the late model, going to travel around a little bit?
Yes, ma'am. So now that this race is over, I'll probably be putting the Mod Mini on jack stands and may not even race it till the next Rick Sirman's Memorial next year. We'll be focusing on the late model. I'm going to try to go to Citrus on the 20th of February after Speed Weeks. And then after that, we're going to go to the second and third leg of the Triple Crown races at Showtime. And then after that, we're going to try to make our way to Opp, Alabama for the Rattler.
I have to say, the Rattler is one of my very favorite tracks and very favorite races. I've been going since I was young.
That's awesome. I've never been there, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Now, Larry just commented and said you must have had a good spotter.
Oh, yeah. Larry Blunt is top of the line. He's really good. He told me where everybody was at. He told me what to do. He really helped me in that race. Thank you very much, Larry.
So you
Well, I know
have
you
to
got a
have a
bus-
really. Go ahead, Robert.
No, you go ahead, Jen.
You must have a really good group of people around you because you've improved every single race and you're doing such a good job coming up through the ranks. So, do you have people you want to thank that help you week in, week out?
Yes, I'd like to give a very special thanks to my mom and dad for making all of this happen. I'd like to thank Mike Scott Plumbing, Boco High Performance, Badass Hill Climbers YouTube, Advanced Auto Parts, B&B Graphics, and then my whole crew, Bob Coffey. Huge thanks to him for getting the car flying for us this weekend. Huge thanks to Pat Jett and Chris Cater and the whole Jet Motorsports crew. My Uncle Pat, Tammy Coffey, Clayton Smith, Jerry Korn, Matt Camp, and anybody else who's helped me with racing.
So, I have a fan comment. How old are you, Michael?
I'm 16 years old.
We were trying to guess your age. You are awfully young to be so very well spoken and so sweet.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, we
I
have
know you got
really
a busy-
appreciate. Go ahead, Robert.
I was going to say the same thing. You appreciate your time. I know you got a very busy week coming up, and I'm off next week, so I may see you a night or two over at Speed Weeks. But if we don't make it, we're going to be following you and getting out all the information on how you're doing. And best of luck over there, and go get some wins.
Yes, sir. I'm very thankful for that. Thank you guys very much.
Have a good night. Thank you so much, Michael, for coming on. Congrats on your big win Saturday.
Thank you for having me.
Have a good night. What a well-spoken young man, right?
Yes, he is.
Okay,
And
so
glad to have
Robert, are we
Jason
getting?
on. You want me to go on into my next segment?
Yeah, this is going to be my favorite segment.
Well, I came up with an idea last week, and I just don't know what to name it. So I'll throw out some ideas, and maybe we'll put up fan comments on what to name this segment. But we always do great things here and try to promote the positivity in racing. And this is meant towards no one individual in person in any segment. That anything I say in this segment from the week is not directed at any one person. It's just in general the stuff I read. But I want to come up with an idea of always at the end of like 60 Minutes, or when Paul Harvey, it was the rest of the story. In 60 Minutes, Andy Rooney always gave his synopsis of just things that were like on their mind or bugging them. So I want to call this kind of what's burning Sunshine State Racing's behind, or something like that. We'll let the fans help name it. But this week's topic, I just got to say, I've seen a lot over the last month and a half. There's been, unfortunately, some races where there's double scheduled of classes at different tracks, and sometimes people can't, they don't help it, and it's not the driver's fault which track they pick to go to, but there's been a lot of comments just, this person went to that track instead of this one because they're avoiding the competition, or that track's only getting the fuel fillers. And in the state of Florida racing, if you're putting the time and effort into going and racing and having fun at it, you're not a field filler. You're putting on a show for the fans. That's what you love to do, and that's what so it just drives me nuts to see people say that about any of our drivers. And sometimes drivers have to commit to certain tracks because of sponsor obligations, or they have somebody paying tires, but they only want them to race here because that's in their local market. And it just, I know people are going to always talk and have their thing, but what drives me nuts this week is just the negativity we have to have about where people race. And let's just be glad they're supporting Florida racing, getting out. We got races at all the tracks, and I got topics that could go on for weeks. So You guys help us come up with a name, and I'm gonna fill this last 5 or 10 minutes each show with what's really bugging me.
That's awesome. Yeah, we got we got stuff to talk about. So one little pet peeve of mine, we get private messages on race day, and I love talking to and meeting the fans. But on race day, we're running around like crazy people. If you see us at the track, we're usually going from one end to the other, up the stairs, down the stairs, literally running nonstop. So if you message us on Sunshine State and we don't respond right away, have a little bit of patience with us, please. We try.
I still
We try
don't believe
really
you climbed
hard.
63 flight of stairs.
I'll show you. Hopefully. I'm not doing it anymore. I am so relaxing the rest of this week. So get your behinds out to a racetrack. Support all of our Florida racing. Support all of our Florida drivers. We had 2 great interviews. Hopefully stop some of the rumors with the whole controversy on restarts and all that. We had an absolute blast at 417 last weekend. Can't wait to do it again. We have the Frostbite 200. Basello already threw that up. Oh, also, real quick note. They sold out of shirts at 417 Saturday. So if you're still wanting a shirt, message Ronnie Basello. I think he's doing another printout of them. Today I got the sickness shirt on, but it looks like thickness.
and Rick Williams just commented on their haters always going to hate, and isn't that the truth? And just a huge shout out to Rick Williams and Sunoco and Southern Racing Fuels for all their support of what we do and giving us ideas and opinions. And great group of guys. Make sure you get out and get that Sunoco race fuel.
Absolutely. And I think we're wrapped up from another Sunshine State Racing recap show. We are loving the Monday night. Hope we covered everything. You got anything, Robert?
We'll see everybody next weekend.
Heck yeah. Get out to a racetrack this week. Support your tracks. Have a good rest of your week.
Have a good one, everybody.